Hello, my name is Swiss Bianco. In this video I will talk about the Damascus Swiss Army Knife edition of 2021. This time we have the Swiss Champ. So we just got that knife in. The boxing is the usual sleeve that we had before with a sticker. This is the edition that did come to USA. So that knife that I have here in my hand was never opened up yet. So we do that. Then you have the typical box that it comes with, display box, and as you open it, there is the knife. As we take the knife out, we have some paperwork from Victorinox. This time actually, as I just see, we have the user guide for the Swiss Champ, but in the Damascus edition, so that is something new. Usually that is just a regular paperwork. That is pretty nice that they did print a version exactly for that specific version of the knife. So we see on top, that's the main part where you see the Damascus blade and the carbon fiber scales here on the right side as well. On the back side we have some more about it. So that is a really nice touch to actually not only do regular paperwork but the version for the Damascus. Then we have the typical paperwork as always that comes with it. You can stop the video to read it if you want to, in the different languages. And on the bottom is a piece of foam. So that's about that. Now the knife itself is the Swiss Champ. This version has the shiny carbon fiber scales. It's like a shredded carbon fiber with a really glossy surface. Those are scales that have no small tools, no toothpick, tweezer, pin, anything. It's just scales and finish. So the pattern looks pretty unique on each of them because it's a shredded carbon fiber. The back side on that one looks like this. And we have, of course, the serial number on the knife stamped in the liner there. This one is 0515 from 6000. They made 6000 pieces in this limited edition. The knife itself is just the Swiss Champ. There is nothing special about it other than the scales and the Damascus blade. So as we look at the pattern, we see a really nice pattern on the blade. The point of the blade is in this version here relative pointy. In the past that was more rounded up, so by resharpening they took a bit more towards the point. The edging is still shallow. It's not a deep edge how we did it back then in Epoch. By the way, the history of the Damascus Swiss Army knife I will link into the description, how we were involved in that, so you can look that up as well. The etching on top of the blade we see too, and on the reverse side it looks like that. That is from knife number 1. Number 2 has the number 420. I did open up that one already. We're gonna just do a side by side of the carbon steel, of the carbon scales and the Damascus steel blade, so you see the difference. Hopefully the camera gonna show that, because it's really shiny. So we see here the difference between the Damascus blades in the pattern really well. Each one is different. So that is that side. Then the pattern of the scales again. So the logo from Victorinox, the metal plate, is inlaid. First is a clear coat, then the logo is inlaid flush with the carbon fiber, so you don't feel anything as you go over it. Really nice done, but as I said, those scales have no tools in them, so for the user aspect it's not too good. You don't have the small tools, and it's really smooth and shiny, so for a user that is less to be preferred. Our carbon fiber scales that we made back then were more on the matte side, had more grip on it, and of course the small parts in it too, because there is the difficulty to work with carbon fiber, to make all the small tools fitting in the scale, because the carbon fiber frays really easy. As we go to the blade, there we have the difference on the blade. On the front here it is not that much of a difference than by the other side, but we still see the difference. Both have about the same edge, not too deep. That is how that is. So I just wanted to give a first impression of those knives. Those are limited editions, 6,000 pieces, and they are now out on the market. Only a few of those 6,000 pieces, of course, did come to USA. So that is how that is. If you want one, then you better go and get it rather soon, before they are sold out. Those are basically strictly collectibles, and Victorinox did do every year so far a version of their knife with a Damascus blade. We have to say the Damascus is still what we selected back then, the Damascus steel from Sweden. That company has new owner since a couple years, but the product, the Damascus steel, is still the same, and they slowly but steadily expand in the different patterns that they offer. The problem is with the Swiss Army knife style that you have a rather small blade, and with some of the patterns that they offer, you don't get much pattern onto such a smaller blade. We saw that back then, as we did make Swiss Army knives with the small blade on it out of Damascus steel. You really have not much pattern on that as well, even less than you have on the regular 91mm knife blade, as we have them right in front of the camera. So the steel is great. It's a powder metallurgically made Damascus. It's a sintered kind of process that they use. It's way different towards traditional blacksmith forged Damascus, which is usually a carbon steel. These ones are stainless steel, and that's why we selected it back then, because we wanted the stainless steel for the pocket knife. First, for the problems with the rust, so that we don't have that, and second, of course, this steel outperforms most, if not any, of the traditional forged Damascus steel, because it's made in a high-tech way with powdered stainless steel material. So that is matter for itself. So all the victorinox knives with the damascus blade has used damascus steel, and that is stainless, so you don't need to worry about rusting too much at all. So that much first of that limited edition in 2021.